All right, so thank you all for being here for our second meet and greet. This is pretty exciting. We have almost 40 members that have signed up to join our meet and greet. A lot of people who signed up are in time zones like Australia and Hong Kong and all over the place. So I know some people are unable to attend. We are going to forward them this recording so that they can learn more about the Alliance and why they too should be a member of our incredible organization. So I am really excited that everybody is here, and it does tell us that there is a need for community. As we're going along, if you have any questions, feel free to post questions in the chat. So right away, I am going to screen share. So hang on, this should be interesting. I did practice. Okay, here we go. So I knew that was going to happen. Okay. We've got some new people trying to come in, Heather and Say. If you've just joined us, we're just getting our presentation started, and I want to welcome you to the meet and greet for the Sex Education Alliance. We are so happy that you're here. I am recording this presentation, so just be aware of that. So we're going to start out introducing ourselves with our meet and greet panel. I'll go first because my name's at the top there. My name is Kim Cook, and I am a former elementary school nurse. I decided at the ripe old age of XX to go back to school as an old lady, and I became a certified health education specialist when I was in my 50s. I decided that one of the things that was missing, and I think you all can relate, was the parent piece. I felt that we were doing a huge disservice to our youth when we're not educating the parents, because they're the ones who really need the information and the help and talking to their kids about sex and relationships. So I'm out there doing my thing, and I'm lonely. And I thought, gosh, there's got to be a better way. There are other people out there doing this. And Amy Lang and Melissa Carnegie,
I'm listening. Say what? I'm listening to a meeting.
So Melissa and Amy and I got together at one of the sex education conferences, and I said, hey, I've got this idea about this, organization to come together, all these independents, and they were like, let's do it. And the rest is history. Here we are. So that's kind of how this got started, and I think a lot of you, that story will resonate because it does get a little lonely out there. So Amy, I'm going to let you go next and introduce yourself.
Amy, you are on mute.
You'd think after all this Zooming, I get it, but apparently not. Anyway, I'm Amy Lang, and my company's called Birds and Bees and Kids, and I help parents with the Birds and Bees talks, and I also work with folks who work with children, particularly like young kids, early childhood educators, and I teach sexual behavior in children, what's typical, what's not, how to know the difference, and that's my kind of answer to sexual abuse prevention training. And when Kim said, I want to do this thing, I said, please, yes, because we were just chatting, and my big thing is that I'm really tired of explaining to people what I do, why I do it, and then watching them have to recover from their whatever they need to do to manage what my work is. So I'm loving having a place to go where people just get it, and I don't have to explain all that stuff. So anyway, so that's me. Melissa, you're on.
All right. So hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Pintor Carnegie. My pronouns are she or they, and I am the founder of Sex Positive Families. Sex Positive Families is an organization that helps families raise sexually healthy children at every age and stage. And we have a focus on being shame-free, pleasure positive, inclusive. We do gender inclusive puberty workshops for the whole family, and that's something that we've had so much fun getting to transition into the virtual space over the last year in light of all the circumstances, and it's been a great success. And I've enjoyed, as it's echoing, what Kim and Amy are saying, being able to be a part of a group of like-minded professionals as you navigate your work and these brave and vulnerable things that we do as entrepreneurs. And so there's like, we're entrepreneurs, but we're also these radical, progressive sexuality educators and professionals working with youth and parents. So just doing all of this work can stir up a lot. And so having support just becomes really, really crucial. So yes, when Kim approached with this opportunity, it was like, yes, I we had to figure out how to make this work. So it's been really cool over the last several months to see the Alliance take shape and become, this resource. And I'm excited for the opportunity to have more folks in our community. So thank you all for being here. Carrie, I think, next.
Hi, everybody. My name's Carrie Isham. I recently just converted.
I love this.
Oh, sorry. I thought someone was saying I was silent. I'm like, no, I'm not on mute. I'll start again. So my name's Carrie Isham. My business name is Power Up Education. I just spent about a year rebranding just prior to COVID. So I got all of my stuff online, which was a blessing. I specialize in sexual abuse prevention, working with people with special needs, specifically ASD, FASD, and other intellectual disabilities. And I also specialize in the impact of pornography viewing on children and youth. And I'm very grateful to be here. When I saw Gail Dine, sorry, but I did a workshop with Gail so long ago in Florida, and it was the same stuff that we're talking about today, but of course, cutting edge for me to be at something like that. So I'm pretty stoked to be here. And it's great to see people from all over the place. This can be a lonely profession, and I'm really grateful that we have this group. So thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. Katie, would you like to go next?
Absolutely, thank you. I am Katie Harrison. My pronouns are they and she. I am C's digital marketing specialist, meaning I run the Instagram and coordinate with Kim and the rest of the team. I'm very new to the world of sex ed, and I'm actually starting at Widener University this fall. So I will be the class of 2023. And I'm just so excited to be here, to meet such wonderful people, and really form this sex ed community.
And we're really happy Katie's come on board too. It's been a wonderful addition to our team. So thank you, Katie. All right, so we're going to go on to our next slide. If I can find it here. All right.
Okay, so if you're here, we're hopeful that it's because you have a shared interest in looking for spaces to learn and grow, a community of people who are passionate about comprehensive sex ed, particularly for families, for youth, serving parents, a sex positive, supportive professional community, emphasis on the sex positive and supportive, and an inclusive, safe space to share your vision of sex education and how you do it in the work that you uniquely do. That's another cool thing about this, is that we all are coming with our own lenses and our own experiences, and that shows up in how we do this work. And so all of these iterations that we bring are absolutely welcome. And as you will come to see, as you become a see, every time I say the word see in life, I always think of this now, tons of ocean references you will come to see through all of this. So yeah, you'll get a chance to connect with like-minded people through this experience, and we're happy to have you here.
And one of the things that we're wondering is what made you curious about what made you curious about coming to the meet and greet? Is there anything in particular that's motivating you? And if you don't mind plopping that in the chat, it really helps see what you all need and are interested in, and helps Kim figure out like where to direct the content and what we're working on. So I'd love to know, we'd all love to know, like, what motivated you to come today? What motivated you to maybe just be interested in what we're up to? look at Katie. I like having a lovely assistant. Share learning about the work we do, learning the history of the Alliance, goals, visions, etc. Thanks, Jenny. Need more resources to help parents. Not much has changed in the 25 years that I've been educating families. Yeah, and just in terms of the resources that are available. Sure. Tests, supporting and exchanging ideas, ways to approach problem,
So what-
and
Great.
answer
Look,
questions.
keep it up.
I'm just gonna pause. If you don't have if you're not muted, would you mind muting yourself? Just double checking. Thanks. Already the dynamic person, okay, sorry, joined connections, community, support, resources, sharing ideas. Excellent. Network and meet others so I can provide rich referrals. Great. Excellent. I think we can do all of those things. That's what we're doing right now. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I think I'm handing it off to someone. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We can check out this quote. I think not really, but we can read this quote that we have here from one of our members.
Oh, you want me to read it?
I'll do it. So Lauren, one of our members, says, I find the collective learning and networking that comes with membership to be invaluable. Our community has been a great place to learn about new professional opportunities, have access to compelling workshops, and meet colleagues that are sharing their experiences and expertise. Absolutely.
Definitely. It's definitely part of what's happening. Alrighty, I think it's next slide time. Oh, I was supposed to read that. Sorry, I couldn't print out my script because I'm at my mom's and let's just say no more. So our foundations are partnership, learning, and community. And the partnership piece, I think, really speaks to being able to find new folks to refer to, working together. I think that sometimes in business, we end up in this space of competition, and the partnership is really about just supporting each other. You know, we are kind of special snowflakes in our work, and being able to connect and work with each other that way and appreciate everybody's strengths. And, you know, there are all kinds of folks that are joining and lots of different people doing different things. So the partnership piece, I think, is one of the most important things that we're doing. Obviously learning in two ways. One is learning, just expanding our sex education toolkits and learning from each other and different perspectives. And then the other part that I think is really important is that we own businesses, we're entrepreneurs, and learning more about how to be a smart, healthy, robust business owner is really, really important to continuing our work. Because if we ain't got any money, it makes it really hard to change the world, part of it. And then the community piece, which I think you're experiencing right now, being together, working together, learning together, and having that place where we can just be who we are as sexuality educators and human beings without, like I said at the top, having to explain what we do and why we do it. Am I having a next slide? Sorry. Maybe. Did I just talk my way through it all? There it is. Yeah. So, I did that. So we partner with communities, families, schools, organizations, and finding all kinds of different ways to work with each other and refer to each other. Thank you. Next.
I'll take the next one with learning. So because we're educators, we're also students and we're learners, and we have one another to help us build our knowledge base in both sexuality education and in business. So we support and learn from one another while improving access to comprehensive sex ed around the globe. Next slide. And so we're curious, what is one topic that you feel would be helpful to you in terms of what you would hope to learn through a professional organization like this? So if you think about it and then drop your thoughts in the chat, what is something and it could be maybe something you feel like you're struggling with in your business or in your work, specifically within your realm. I know one thing, I've been around for 4 years with sex positive families, and it's been quite a road. So there have been moments where managing social media, has been a challenge, or trying to figure out how to show up in those spaces. Carrie says business systems management. Yes. Martha says managing negative community reactions to our work, both personally, professionally. Yes. And we know that that's alive and well right now with what's going on, unfortunately, in the news. And Leah says income generation. Yes, right. So sustainability is so important to being able to do this work. And many of us may have been indoctrinated, I'll use that word, in nonprofit systems. And therefore, before branching off into entrepreneurship, or even if you're there and you're curious about entrepreneurship, or you're side hustling or doing any of those things, sex ed work has not been valued at the level that supports sustainability many times. And so our group and this organization, we continue to strive to help change that, and to prove that you can absolutely have a sustainable business and do this life affirming work full time, if that's what you feel called to do. But getting those business systems, in place is what can help you do it. Crystal says, how to advise parents regarding how to talk to their teen daughters about sexuality. Yeah. Mandy says, building materials, programs through a porn critical lens. Ooh, we talk a lot about porn here. You'll love us. Gail says, how to bring feminist-based sex ed into schools that focus on the harms of porn. Jenny says, communicating with parents, families about experiences outside of your own racialized and gendered experiences, i.e. working with trans and intersex students of color who are thinking about dating or hooking up. I love all of this. So thank you all. Thank you all for sharing all of these. What I love, sorry, Kim was saying earlier, I think before we hopped on, was just, we get to take all of these desires and these needs around these different topics and create actual professional development or learning opportunities to help support all of us. To give you an example, we just had a great session with Corey Silverberg and Dr. Bianca Loriano, who talked about how to provide sex ed in a way that is inclusive and that's progressive and that really is youth-centered and youth-focused. So many opportunities here. So when we talk about community, this is the most important aspect of the Alliance. Again, this is what we are. We're ultimately a community of like-minded folks. We have diverse skills, perspectives, backgrounds, identities, and experiences. We encourage you to bring all of that into this space. There's room for all of us to be exactly who we are and to do the work in the exact ways that we do. Next slide, please. And then this quote by one of our members, Salima, in the short time that I've been a member, C has already given me the opportunity to connect with, share experiences with, and learn from incredibly skilled and accomplished sexuality education professionals. I'm so grateful and honored to be part of such a unique yet diverse group. So these, and just, I feel like so many of us could write a lot of these same things because it truly is offering this opportunity for us to come together in community in these ways. And so in talking about specifically what can you expect, what are the things that happen, from month to month, sometimes even from week to week here, benefit-wise, our Seaside Chats. So Seaside Chats, they happen at different days, different times of each month. We try our best to accommodate the many time zones since we are international at this point. They're always recorded. So if you're not able to make the particular time, you can watch them later. Kim and the team does such a great job of making all of this accessible to our busy schedules. But again, we recently had some on, one of them was on time management and task management. So some business oriented things. The more recent one was on passive income opportunities. And so just allows those that come and that are in attendance for us to share ideas, to share challenges and help problem solve together.
Okay, and I will take some of this from here. Yeah, in fact, on Thursday, we are doing Seaside on profit versus nonprofit, which should be very interesting because we're kind of in that space where, you know, we're kind of doing nonprofit work, but we're trying to make some money off of this. Is it better to go nonprofit? Is it better not? So we're going to be, you know, doing the pros and cons of that on Thursday. So become a member and you can join us. Another thing that we do are our virtual deep sea dives. So this is an opportunity once a month where we invite guests to come and speak to us. Melissa mentioned that we had Corey Silverberg and we had Bianca Loriano who were here, and they discussed the work that they're doing. Melissa is actually presenting in July, and she's going to be discussing with us best practices for Instagram use. And then I have a woman coming in August who is in PR, and she's going to talk to us the best way to circle around with all of our content to get the best bang for our buck. So we try to focus on a lot of business type issues in a more formal setting. So think of it as a webinar, but we're getting away from that language. And because we really like sea references, we are a virtual deep sea dive, but it's a webinar. So that's what we do once a month for that as well. So already you can see we have 2 events, the Seaside Chats, which is an organized dialogue. I just kind of come with some questions and we just spitball. The virtual deep sea dives are a little bit more organized, or a lot more organized because someone else presents it, which is really nice for me. And then we have our newest edition, and this is what I'm really excited about. About once a month, we're meeting for our Sea Free Dives. And this is a free-for-all. No plan. We just show up and we talk. We find a topic. For example, our first one was so exciting. This is what made me go, we have to do that. We have to keep doing this. We were talking about the Matt Getz incident and the different perspectives on that. And one of our members, Gina, said, if we don't address our different perspectives in this space, what good are we as educators? We have to understand and be aware of all the different perspectives and kind of listen to what other people say. And, you know, just, you don't have to change your mind, just listen to what people have to say. And it was so exciting. And I thought, that's it, we've got to keep doing this. So we do a free dive. We have one coming up the 3rd week in June, and that's an 8 p.m. time because I'm trying to accommodate our Australian members. We do have several people in Australia, which is fantastic. So the Seaside Chats and the deep sea dives are recorded. The free dives are not, because it's kind of a bare your soul kind of a thing. And even though we limit viewership to only our members for the chats and the dives, you never know if somebody's going to leak out a link or something. And I want to make sure that we're in a safe space, that we can share ideas and it's not going to go out in public. So the Sea Free Dives are just between us. Those are really, really, really fun. Okay, a monthly newsletter, and that's new this month. I was sending out twice a month newsletters, and that was a bit much, I think, for everybody. So in taking a little poll, we're down to once a month, and one is supposed to go out tomorrow, but you guys might have to wait a week. So there's that. But it will be once a month. Our private Facebook page. Wow, this is really exciting too. Anyone who's here now and a member, you know, there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of sharing going on. We're sharing different presentations that we're giving. We're asking to help share ideas. We're asking, can you push this out to your community? Hey, I have a question. Can you share with me? I'm confused on this topic. The dialogue that happens on our private Facebook page is awesome. And I am really particular. A lot of people ask to join this Facebook page, and they're amazing sex educators in their arena too, but they're not members. And this is something I'm holding sacred, that this is for us, that we can enjoy on our own. We do have a public facing Facebook page. It doesn't get as much engagement, but that is an option for those who choose not to join the Alliance. Business listing. So the other thing we do, as I mentioned on Facebook page too, is most of us have programs that we offer for parents, or we have a book or a podcast, or we do something. We're not all just sex educators too. We educate in different realms. We have highly published authors that are part of our group. We have a lawyer who's part of our group who now does sex education. We have medical personnel, we have counselors, a lot of counselors, and even people who are thinking about starting up nonprofits. You don't have to be just, a family educator, and you might be an emerging business owner. You might be working somewhere for a group right now, but you're thinking about, you kind of want to do this thing on your own. We're here to help you do that too. So it's not just for people who have active businesses. This is for people who are emerging business leaders, who are thinking about switching careers, who might have a different perspective on sex education as far as career-wise. And that's what's so exciting. So in this business listing, I will list, we have different platforms, but I will list if you've written book, curriculum, podcast, whatever it is you're offering, we list that. And it's not just for us, but that is also public facing. So anybody can access your listing.
Can I add a thought to that, Kim?
Yes.
I have to say that business listing has been so helpful. I know with sex positive families, we get lots of asks, to be on this podcast or to be to comment on this media thing or whatever. And it's just me. I can't do all that. And so many times I've gone to that business listing and been like, who can I find that does this or specializes in that or can talk about this, and then being able to be to that as a connecting tool to share all these opportunities that people are coming with has been amazing.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I need to promote that more, because you're right. You say that to me all the time, how much you use that, and I so appreciate that feedback. Thank you for sharing that. The other thing we have is the calendar listing. We have it public facing, and we also have a private one. So for members, we list, when the chats and the deep sea dives and the free dives are, you'll get a listing for that. And then we also have an opportunity to share your offerings so that we can promote for you, or perhaps we want to take your class. And a lot of our members offer ASEC certified classes too, where you can get some CEs, which is amazing. But we also have the public facing, where if there's a community member who is interested in classes on pornography, for example, Carrie Isham has their listing on the calendar page, in which people can then access who are just not members, who are just curious, and then they can hire her. So it works both ways for just members and public facing. So that's a perk of being a member. So I'm really excited about the calendar piece because I just upgraded it and it's really cool. I think my web designer did a really awesome job. But as we know, individually, we're just one drop, but together we are an ocean. And I think that's a really good metaphor that we need to keep in mind with our alliance. As we all know, and I know some who are present today and who are in our groups actually work in organizations. And even then, even within your own organization, you're busy, like a gerbil on a hamster wheel, you're just working so hard, and it just feels like you're hitting a family. But if we can come together, as an alliance, as a group, as a single-minded entity about the importance of talking to our families about sexuality in an open, comprehensive, sex-positive manner, think of the change that we can do. Mm-hmm. As a group, I think we're unstoppable. I think we're just unstoppable. So that is the whole point of the alliance, is to build our business so that we can get the message out, so we can really make change around the globe when it comes to sexual health. So Carrie, I'm going to let you take it from here. Sorry, I got carried away on that quote.
No problem. So I think I'm going to get pretty vulnerable here. I feel like my heart is pounding, not exactly sure why. I don't usually get nervous with public speaking, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background. So I've been teaching sexual health education for 25 years. And the first year that I taught it, I was 24 years old, standing in front of grade 7s with an overhead projector, teaching about the male and female reproductive system. And I remember thinking, I need to be able to say these words without being ridiculous, and I had that notion earlier on because my mom actually did give me quite a bit of information, although she did often say, too much information, don't share that with me about my own sex life or my relationships. And I remember at the very beginning, people thought I was really weird. They were like, why are you teaching that? Because it's part of the curriculum. What curriculum? And in my 25 years of teaching, we have gone through 4 different curriculum cycles in BC. And so I would beg, borrow, steal time to do sexual health. When I became a PE teacher at the school, I switched off with the male PE teacher so that I could have the boys for 3 weeks, which meant 9 classes. And then he took my students. And then in 2009, I decided, I really want to do this full time. I had a Bachelor of Physical Education, a Bachelor of Education, but I knew I wanted to do something more. So I took the certification through Options for Sexual Health, and I have been running my own business for the last 13 years. And I can be really honest, I can write a book about the horrible things that have happened to me as an individual, trying to get kids to receive the education that they are mandated by the Minister of Education in my province. And so I have been banned from a school district because I was trying to get the kids to get what they want. See, when you shine a light on an area that's not done well in a school district, the way that they can get rid of you is just to say to people, we're not hiring outside providers, meaning me, because I was the only outside provider. So I actually left that community and moved to the community that I'm in now, because I was not expanding my business there, even though the kids desperately wanted it, the parents wanted it, the teachers wanted it. One individual in the school district made a decision that they were going in a different direction, which actually wasn't true. There was no planned direction. I have had people go completely off the charts when I teach about gender and sexual orientation. I had one organization that intentionally went onto my Carrie Isham Power Up Education page to write horrible reviews about me because I was teaching about students being transgender. This goes back a few years. I had pamphlets put on people's cars saying this person is evil. And so one of the reasons that I joined this group is because I have felt very alone, particularly in the last 13 years. Really, there's not a lot of people in my area doing this. There's not a lot of people doing the specialties that I'm doing. And I desperately wanted to find a home base where I could go and say, hey, I'm really struggling with this. I don't have a business degree, people. I've been doing this literally day by day, trying to figure out, like, what the heck am I doing here? And people think I have it together. I've written 3 books and co-authored a 4th book. Right now, I'm scratching my head going, how am I going to package these 6 videos from my high schools? What am I going to charge? Who's going to buy them? Why would they want to buy them? All of this self-doubt. But when I come to this group, I can just be myself, and people nod in appreciation of the struggles because they have the same struggles. So I've participated in quite a few things, and I just want to share some of the things that I've done. The passive income stream chat that we had, that was one of the seaside chats. Can you imagine being in a Zoom meeting with people who actually know what they're talking about? Like, not me, but other people. I mean, I do a little bit, I shared a bit, but like people willing to offer, you know what, I grew my business by doing this. And when I'm on vacation, sitting on the beach, having my, daiquiri or whatever, I look at my phone, I'm like, whoa, just sold 10 books and I'm just sitting here. Most people are interested in, like, how can I bring in income when I'm not actually doing anything? So that was awesome for me. We had writing as a tool to boost the sex ed platform by Steph Audrey, and she's one of the members. We had Corey Silverberg and Bianca talking to us about expanding our ideas on youth sex ed, which I don't know about you, but just meeting those two is a bit of a like, whoa, I'm in the same Zoom room as these 2 amazing people. It's kind of a boost for me. Ethical quandaries. I got really clear with a business coach about what am I doing? What's my premise? What's my mission? What is my focus? And when I got really clear on that, I started getting more and more and more clients. We also, Gina Lepore also did how to use Zoom for us. Like, most of us have the basics of how to use Zoom because we've been pressured or forced into it out of necessity. But she actually did a thing where it's like, hey, this is how you use this feature. And that to me was worth the membership fee, just doing one thing with Gina, because I needed to learn certain things. A year ago, I never used Zoom ever. And now I'm doing about 90%, maybe even 95% on Zoom. I love it and I dislike it. But I guess what I just wanted to say for the fee for this membership group, and I don't benefit financially from saying this, Kim and Amy and Melissa have created something that's going to impact the world, people. So the more members we have, the more reach we have internationally, the more our families are going to be healthier. We're going to reduce discriminatory behavior against people who are in marginalized communities. We're going to help people to reduce the incidence of sexual violence and sexual abuse of small children, because we're teaching and learning from each other. So I've been in lots of groups. I have a Vancouver Island sex educator group myself that I started a few years ago, and we've had 10 meetups. We actually have a meetup. If anyone is on Vancouver Island, we have a meetup in October, and we do them quarterly, and we teach each other. It's the same sort of thing, but very small scale, because I'm not interested in taking on any bigger projects at the moment. So that's kind of my 2 cents. I think if you're feeling lonely, if you have no clue how to start a business, I am more than willing to mentor people. If they have questions, you can message me directly. I'll put my email in the chat. And, here's a small thing. So I share Salima Noon's stuff because I really admire the work she does. I don't feel like I'm in competition with Salima. I want her to do well. I want everybody in the group to do well. Melissa messaged me the other day and said, hey, I'm going to share your sexual health education for children with special needs. And I have more than 60 people registered, which is really good for June. Like June, people are like, I'm done. And so these are people that are raising or working with kids, kindergarten to grade 7, who have a variety of, diverse abilities. So I think the more we promote each other, it just expands the safety of the community. There is so much work for people. We do not have to feel like, ooh, I'm not going to share that person's thing because they're doing similar to me. Who cares? Just share it all, because how the social media works, you may not even see that person's post. Who knows? So thanks for being here today, everybody. I don't know if I talked too long, Kim, sorry, but I like the program, I like the groups, and I actually put everything into my calendar as soon as Kim sends out the newsletter, because I actually don't want to miss anything. I put this group as a priority because I don't really want to watch the recordings. Not that you can't, but for me, I'm like, I need the live because I don't know if I'm going to focus on watching the recordings later. I need to do it in the moment because I have too many things to do. So thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate it.
Carrie, that was awesome. Thank you. It almost made me want to cry. Even I didn't realize how well this is used. I mean, you're back here doing all this and then you get all this feedback. It's exciting. This really makes me happy to hear how utilized this community is. And it's a lot of fun. These are the best people. I'm telling you, they're the most fun. We have a lot of laughs and we have a lot of fun. And it does come with a very small fee, however. For membership right now, only until Friday night. On Saturday morning, this is going to change. But right now, our membership fee is just $129 a whole year. And everything we talked about is yours. So there could be some monetizing changes coming up because this too is a business. And I have to make sure I can keep this ship sailing on the sea of education. So, but right now, if you all want to get in now, it's a really great deal. It's $129 a year and it's 15% off if you register through, I have this set up till the end of Friday, and the code is MG15 because I'm not that creative, meet and greet 15, MG15, so easy to remember. We are going to increase on Saturday morning to $229. So this is the time to do it.
And Kim, can you just talk a little bit about the student memberships as well?
Thank you for the reminder. Yes, because we know students are always on a low budget. Oops, somebody is trying to get in. because students are always on a low budget, we do offer a $29 annual fee for students as long as they're students. Once they become professionals, of course, we have to up that cost. But yeah, so when you go on to sign up, it says from $29 and up. That would be for the students. For the professionals, it's $129. Thank you, Katie. Thank you for reminding me. That is a very good point. And then I'm going to let Melissa.
So whether you've been floundering on your own or floating comfortably along, this is the chance to swim with the School of Independent Sexuality Professionals, leading a sea change in sex ed for youth and families. So we're going to open it now up to Q&A. So any questions you have or reactions or thoughts, feel free. This then becomes kind of like what it's like when we get to hang out together in all of these things. We want to make sure you feel comfortable with whatever you feel like you're going to get yourself into hanging out with us.
And I can't see all of your lovely faces in one screen. So feel free to just speak up if there's something you would like to share. I see a lot of blocked mics.
Oh, did you mention the mugs as a bonus?
No, I did not mention the handy
Mugs are so
little-
cute.
They're so cute. You, the first 15 to register, you get one of these bad boys.
We have a question.
Yes.
Does the membership run 1 year from when you join, or is it a calendar year?
From when you join. Good question.
I would like to introduce our organisation because we're new to this and I didn't even know you existed till I got your email, and it's really glad to see. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with Culture Reframed, where we build programmes for parents of tweens and teens on how to talk to your kids about porn. It's built by a multidisciplinary team of paediatricians, sex educators, adolescent psychologists. Each one took about 1.5 years to build. We get grants from foundations for this. And what we're doing in October, and we're happy to send this out, is we're doing an international conference called Taking on Porn, Developing Resilience and Resistance Through Sex Education. So we've got speakers from Sweden, India, the UK, Turkey, all talking about the work that they're doing and the challenges they face in a country like India, which is, multi-caste, multiracial in many ways. And it's a 2-day conference, and we'd love for people to join, because what we're really trying to deal with is how we're not Culture Reframed sex educators as such, as trying to develop materials that are science-based but interesting and really address pornography and how to deal with that, but from a sex positive perspective, to understand. We definitely argue that pornography undermines the healthy social, emotional and cognitive development given the research, but we don't want a sex education that's all about getting diseases and or scaring the kids to death, because I'm sure, as you all know, that when you talk about girls' pleasure and foreground that, it's actually the best thing you can do in terms of helping girls stop sexual violence, helping them put off their first sexual experience. So we're really figuring out how to layer on a progressive approach to sex education, understanding that kids come to sex education with a template formed by porn, yet we're not deconstructing that template before we start talking about sex ed. So I'd be interested to hear what people think about this. Is how do you deconstruct the sexual template that most kids would have by the time they enter sex ed classes, if they ever get to a sex ed class?
And that's a really good question. And those are the types of things that we address in our group. So for example, a topic like that, we would hit really hard, probably in our Seaside chat. That would be a topic that we would all come together, we would share ideas, and then you, as the person asking the question, would come around with all kinds of really interesting ideas. We have a lot of members in our group whose primary focus is on porn, and I think it would be a really interesting conversation, actually, especially those individuals, if they could come and share their ideas. I like that.
You join on your website? Yes, you can join through your website.
Right, through the sexeducationalliance.com. And then there's buttons everywhere to join. Yes.
Okay.
But that's precisely what we do. Is you're trying to build out your program and get people interested. You would come to us and we would share ideas. We would help you, brainstorm, troubleshoot, and then you have a plethora of experts too that you could engage to maybe present.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you mentioned this angle, Kim, also, but with the Seaside chats, it's just to really illuminate that it is an opportunity too, that if you have a particular area of expertise, either like as a business owner from like an entrepreneurial hat, or as kind of in your area that could be of service to, you know, the membership, then, you know, you being able to present that to the group. So just kind of want to put that out there, that Kim is sourcing people externally from the group to bring in knowledge and expertise, but also being very aware that there's a lot here, and people that like to present, or it's an opportunity to even practice presenting on a particular topic. All of that just helps us all grow and then be supportive of each other in that process. Carrie had said, when Steph presented on the book publishing, I was going through a process myself in my business that related to that. And it was like so timely. And so I was just like, oh my gosh. And then afterward, she shared with me a book that I like dove into and read. So it's like, this is the kind of stuff that you're just not gonna get, you know, that's just so timely to just growing and developing and what we're doing, which, like Carrie said so well, is just the ripple effect of when we're thriving in the work that we do. This is impacting real people's lives, real families, real youth, real communities. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that perspective, Melissa. Exactly. Yes. I am not looking at the chats. If anybody sees a chat, to throw it out there.
Something funky appears to be going on with the website, just so from my end, and I think other folks. So maybe
Wait.
when you
The Sex Education Alliance website?
Yeah. So
what's happening?
just when you send out the recording, just make sure you include that. Okay. Oh, it's me. It's totally on my end. I'm in Southern Oregon. Just saying. It's like being in the sticks. Kind of.
It also might just be a little bit overwhelmed right now, because I know you have had some problems. Try Googling and clicking on the Sex Ed Alliance from there. And then if that still doesn't work, try again in about like 10-15 minutes after the call is done.
And then I think Lydia, hi Lydia. Lydia was asking around the process. So yes, you would submit the application, and then that application gets reviewed by Kim, and sometimes Amy and I assist with that. And the real reason behind that, as opposed to just having a link where anyone can register, is just because we hold very specific ethics, you know, and values around the work that we do. You know, there are folks out there who talk about sexuality education not from a sex positive or not from an inclusive lens, and we are really protective of this space and this community. And you know, so Kim's done a really great job of, you know, crafting that application to help again protect this space and the things that we talk about, the angles by which we talk about them.
Melissa, could you, you know, where I come from, kind of the more an academic approach, sex positive means one thing in academia. I'm interested to know what it means in the sex ed world. When you say, what is the, I'm pretty sure I assume what it is, but I'd love to hear from somebody who's an expert.
Yeah, so I want to caveat what I'm about to say with the fact that sex positivity can mean something unique and different to every person. So when I did a podcast, for example, I would ask each one of my guests to define what sex positivity means for them. But as it relates to this particular group and what we've come together, some of the principles around that are, you know, agency, people's agency, young people especially, when it comes to their sexual agency. We don't demonize things like masturbation or, again, sexuality, identity, teaching from an inclusive lens as it relates to being trans affirming, intersex inclusive, not binary in the way that we talk about sexuality and sexual health, and not being risk focused in the education that we provide. So not being about prevention, which is rooted in control, and preventing, you know, what have been deemed adverse outcomes of pregnancy or, you know, STIs. So those are some of the elements that you can find, I think, that are consistent with all of our work, you know, as we're presenting it. But again, we're all going to come with our unique lenses, and also as it relates to the diversity that we bring within our own identities, you know, to
Yeah, but I love that. I love your approach. It's great because so much of it is about risk, and you're gonna, you know, anti-masturbation and stuff, which we don't adhere to at all at culture.
Yeah. And I mean, we're working again, this group, so there's tons of other professional organizations around, like, I won't say tons, that's not accurate, sorry. There are other organizations that are for sexuality professionals or educators or counselors or therapists and all that stuff, right? What makes us unique is our focus on supporting family systems and parents, caring adults, young people. And then the fact that there's that entrepreneurial independent aspect and component to our work. So yeah, that's what makes what we do very, very unique. And then that sex positive lens around that, again, could trigger people in different ways, especially when you're talking about children, you know, at these different developmental stages. But
I just wanted to share two things. One, Kim, it might be good to have some sort of time where people who are just brand new to the field could ask questions about, like, how do you even do this? What do you charge? What do you need on a website? I don't know if anyone's in that situation. But also, one of the things that I would like to offer, and I'm definitely not an expert in the field, it would be definitely more of a conversation where people would bring their own ways of doing this. But when we hired a business coach, we are using certain ways of managing our business, and it is making our lives so much easier. We are using like Monday.com, we're using Trello, we're using Voxer, and these are just things I had no idea what they were. I'm very fortunate because my husband's skill set is very complementary to mine. So he does all the stuff that I don't ever want to do. But we have very specific systems because in my head, we are working on so many different projects. And if we didn't have a system, we'd be like, did we record that or did we not? Did we like update the PowerPoint for that or not? Is this on like, and so it's just simple tools. And I was in my business for almost 12 years with, like, I was doing paper pen, people, like, and I did have a few little systems, but this has elevated things so much easier because I just go into that and go, okay, what have we done? Okay, we have to start here. Great, check it off. There's a check system. And so if anyone's interested in that, Kim, I will put my name forward to kind of share what I do in the hopes that other people would share what they do. I don't have like an hour of, here's all these great systems, but I definitely could share some screenshots of how we organize our information and how I log like my income and how I, know how many PDFs I've sold and things and what kind of website I'm using and what's my online shop and how did we create that? Because I knew nothing about that. And if you have a good website with the shop and you can sell things passively, then you're into a different income level.
So you just experienced in real time what we do in the Alliance. We have members that step up and say, hey, I've got this skill. Can we carve out time? Can this be a dive? Can this be a webinar? Can this be something? And we do. I will take Carrie's ideas and I will write them down because I still use pen and paper. I'll write it down and, and we'll implement them down the road. I do have a long list. There are a lot of business questions that people want addressed. And we do this 3 times a month and there's still so many questions. So you just experienced with Carrie exactly how this community works. We share ideas, we have problems, we come, we problem solve, and we all learn and move forward. And that's what we do. Now it is, almost 2 o'clock in Illinois on the button. Somebody else was just admitted, so they're coming in at the tail end, unfortunately, but everybody will get a copy of this presentation. Before we go, are there any other pressing questions? I know we're all busy people. We all have things that we've got to get back to, but if you have anything pressing that you would like to share or ask, you can put it in the chat and somebody will have to tell me because I'm not reading it in the chat for some reason.
I got ya. Got lots of thanks. Thanks for coming. Thanks for a wonderful hour.
I'll,
Everything I was hoping for and more. Thank you so much. Thank everyone for joining, says Katie. And don't
Okay.
forget the super deal, $129 until Friday and 15% off that. And that's your forever price, right?
no, that's not for the 129. It's not the forever,
It's the first year.
just the first year.
Oh, okay. That's probably a
Yes.
good thing to be clear about. So just your
Yes.
first year is $100 plus off, and then it'll go up to $229.
Correct.
thanks
Thank
for
you for
clarifying.
clarifying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And from the bottom of my heart, and I'm going to speak on behalf of Melissa and Amy and Carrie and Katie. Wow. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for asking the best questions. Thank you for being engaged. Thank you for caring about families enough to build your business, to build your life around sexuality education. Whether you join or not, we're on the same team. Thank you. Thank you. And I know our paths are going to cross one way or the other, but I really hope it's through the Alliance because we have a lot of fun. You know, again, with the SEA, the C, we have a lot of fun with that terminology. We have to keep it. Our work can be stressful and it can be really uncomfortable and it can be really harsh at times because of the feedback we get. Not here. We have fun. We loosen up. We lighten up. We have a good time. Everybody is so nice. And we would love to see each one of you become a member as well. So on that note, I'm going to stop the recording and yeah,